my name is Sage, and this week I decided I wanted to make a raccoon spider, and you may be asking, what's that? It's a raccoon with spider legs coming out of his back, ooh! And these are my sketches, and in order to create my vision, I'm gonna need some supplies. So once I have my tinfoil, clay, wooden base, and wire, I'm set. And here's me ripping up the tinfoil and then squishing it into a small little ball, before then taking the wire and getting some legs, ooh, some spider ones, and these spider legs take us on a journey, because I don't know what I'm doing, I just have a vision. And so now that I have 2 sets of legs, which is really 4 if you think about it, because that's the way I'm thinking about it, I'm like, this is great, I can just use the tin foil and then squish everything all together and it will be great. Spoiler, it was in fact not great. And then I decided, you know what, that's a problem for later. I'm gonna work on making the tinfoil insides of the raccoon. And to do that, I just keep squishing tinfoil on top of tinfoil until bam! I slap some clay on it, and this is the base. I drop him, but he's okay. Next, I give him some ears and carve out a little snout, and then I get rid of his ears because I hate them. Next, I decide he needs a bigger head, and also he needs a bigger back, and then obviously he needs to have some arms, but don't get attached. He gets new ones later. And since I can't focus, I then decide he needs chubbier cheeks because obviously he's a raccoon and they're cute. Next, I give him some eye sockets so he can see in the future. Then I give him some ears that I eventually end up taking off because I don't like them either. Then I work on his nose. And you may be like, you're jumping around a lot. I can't focus. Also, I never made a raccoon before. And as Bob Ross would say, this craft was filled with happy accidents. And this is where I get rid of his ears and his eye sockets because I don't like them neither. Next, I decide the best course of action is obviously to keep adding to his cheeks before then smoothing him out a little bit off camera, and then I add some more ears. Are they gonna be the ears? We'll find out. I then get distracted again and then decide to give him some eye sockets, but I give him 4 this time because obviously he's gonna have 4 eyes because he's part spider. Next, I carve out his little nose. Ooh, now he has a nose. He can smell stuff. After that, I rip off his caboose and then I put it on his shoulders, and then I decide, you know what? His arms, gone. But then I rip one off just to put it right back. Why did I do that? I don't know. Welcome to my brain. And since my vision wasn't visioning correctly, I then roll him up in my hands to smooth everything out. So now that he's dolphin smooth, the Walking Dead reference, he is now ready for me to go again and try to make my vision come true. And that's gonna start with his little feet, ooh. And then I decide the next course of action is obviously to take off his head. And you may be like, why would you do that? He looks fine. It's because I was having trouble with the anatomy because I wanted to position him in a certain angle and I was having issues. So his head just had to come off. And now I can build up his thighs. I then decide to go on a side quest to make his tail. And I start by scrunching up some tin foil, before then again taking some clay from his caboose so then I can fit the tail on. And with the power of editing, the tail is now covered in clay and smoothed out and attached to the body. And now I make some tin foil rollies and put some clay on them to make the arms. And now that the arms be armin', it's now time to go back to the face and do some touch-ups. I also work on his ears, and these are the ears that stay. I then give him the lower part of his jaw. Yay, he can now eat. Next, I hollow out some of his head so that it's easier to bake later on, and I fill it with some tin foil. And now I can work on reattaching his head to his body. Yay! I take some clay and I smush it around with my ball stylus until everything is nice and connected. And this is where I think it's a fantastic idea to just put clay up top of the 2 wires that I cut to make his legs. I thought this was genius, and it wasn't. Foreshadowing. And this is where I threw out the 4-leg idea and made these 2 legs instead of 4 because I thought if I made them 4 it wouldn't be long enough, but I couldn't even attach them because they wouldn't stay. Was I trying just to attach them by pushing the clays together? Absolutely. Did I know that that wasn't gonna work in my head? Absolutely. Did that stop me? No. I wanted to try. So instead of dealing with my problems, I decide to make hands instead. I make a mitten shape before then slicing it 2 times to make some fingers and then adding an extra one for the raccoon's pinky. And once I have the base of the hand done on one side, I then do it to the other. And because his hands be looking a little rough, I then go in with my ball stylus and smooth some stuff out, and I also add some more clay to places that need it. I continue this process until I'm ready to move on to his feet. And just like his hands, I take the pointy stylus and make some slices so then I can get the beginnings of his toes. Before then rolling some little mini logs and then putting them onto the in-between slices, and now his toes are made. I repeat this step on the other side as well. And well bam, his feet are done, yay! And this is where I take the ball stylus and go ham and smooth them all out. And this time I keep all the detailing, yay! Next, I decide to deal with my problems and take all of the clay off of the wires that I put it on. And so this time I'm gonna try and stab them in, but I'm also gonna cut another 2 wires. So now he has 4 wires to stand on to see if that makes a difference or not. He also fell over and then I had to fix him off screen. It's fine. And it didn't, he was still super wobbly and he was falling off, and basically it was just a terrible idea. But it did lead me to a genius one because I was like, you know what? I can just leave the stabbed holes there and then I can add the legs later after he's already baked, because the non-baked clay will stick to the baked clay. And since there'd be holes for the wires to already go in, everything should stay put. So really, everything is a happy accident. Thank you, Bob Ross. I then do a couple of side journeys and do some touch-ups before then giving him some eyes. And now that he has 4 eyes, he is now ready to be put in the oven to be baked. And so that's what I do. But then, ding ding ding, ooh, I have an even better idea. I'm gonna wrap the wire with tinfoil to make sure that the clay really stays on there so it doesn't slip and slide. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but I was super excited for my brain to have a light bulb moment. I then decide I'm gonna make some spider knees, so they're gonna be a little bit thicker, and then I'm gonna make the really thin parts of the legs too, because you know that's just what they do, that's how they be. At least in my mind, that's how they are. And I then repeat this process another 3 times, so now I have a total of 4 spider legs. I then take the slicer tool and go bing bam boom, you know, slicing and dicing the legs to make some knees. I also use the ball stylus along the way to do some touch-ups. And next thing that I know, the raccoon is now completely done cooking, and this is what he looks like. And so now I can start adding the legs. I put the wire in the hole, and then I put clay up top of it and smush it all around, and I do that to all 4 legs. And this is the moment of truth. He stands up all by himself. Oh my god, I was so excited. He's standing up. He's defying gravity. So now I put him in the oven to bake again, and he comes out with a few cracks, and his foot fell off. But you know what? That's nothing that glue can't fix. So I fill in the cracks with the hot glue because any crafter knows hot glue can fix anything. And then I decide to glue back his foot, and his toe fell off too. So I glue the toe to the foot with some Gorilla Glue, and then I glue the foot to the other part of the foot with some more Gorilla Glue. I always thought that duct tape could fix anything, but nah, Gorilla Glue's coming in clutch for me. And this is where I paint him gray, and I'm mixing the gray myself, so there may be a few tones in there because, you know, I'm not the best mixer in the world, but I'm getting there. And then once I paint him mostly gray, I then decide, you know what, I want to do some extreme detailing. I want to give him little fur colors that you can see in the paint with the whites and blacks, and then I decide I got bored and I'm gonna scrap that idea completely. I then move on to painting his eyes and his nose, and then I give him the little raccoon bandit face. And some happy accidents happened along the way, so I go back to the extreme fur detailing and paint completely over that. Before then going back to his face and then going right back to his tail because I can't focus. And here I am painting the little stripes on his tail. Before then painting his little feet and his little hands black. Ooh, everything's coming together. He's looking like a raccoon. Next, I go in with the white paint on his face to give him some more raccoon markings. I fill in around his eyes and on his cheeks. Before then giving his tail some white markings as well. And now it's time to move on to painting his spider legs. Ooh, I paint the first bit completely black as I want to go in sections to paint the spider leg. Once the first 4 sections are completely covered in black, I then go in with a slightly lighter gray, and I'm gonna be building it gradually so each following section is a lighter gray. I was looking at different spider legs for some inspiration because I don't know how they're all colored and stuff, but then I decided, you know what I want to do? Ombre. So that's what I did. I then used an umber brown to go into the nooks and crannies of all of the knees. I decided to go with an umber brown just because I noticed that there was some like reddish brown tones in some of the raccoons that I was looking at, and it's just like me to get distracted and do touch-ups before I was even done. So I was doing touch-ups just everywhere while also filling in all of the umber brown nooks and crannies. And now that my raccoon spider is done, it's now time to work on the base, and I decide to paint it an umber brown. Next, I go in with some white glue and paint it onto the base so then I can add some moss. And I do end up using 2 types of moss just because I thought that it would look cool and I liked how it turned out. Anyway, we're coming up to the end of the video, and I would just like to say thank you so much for watching, and now it's time for the glamour shots.